Hello, fellow trumpeters and musicians. My name is Josh Rzepka, and today I have some tips for you about performing and stage presence. Now, this is such an important topic, and I hope that my tips allow you to feel more comfortable on stage and allow you to take your performances to that next level. Now, the first tip. The performance begins the moment you walk onto the stage. It's not when the music starts. It is the moment you walk onto stage. And with that in mind, we want to make sure that we are projecting confidence, that we are smiling. We want to make sure we are relaxed. That is the first thing the audience is going to see. That is going to be their very first impression of us. Now, this reminds me of years ago when I was getting my master's degree at Boston University. I had a brass quintet that I was in, and our coach for a couple of the semesters was Ken Amos, and he is the tuba player in the Empire Brass. And he used to have us practice walking out onto stage. And a lot of times we were in the classroom, so he would make us go outside of the classroom, and then he would start clapping. And then we had to walk into the room with a good posture, with a smile on our face, and walk up to the stand and get ready to play. And if we walked in and we did not smile, if we didn't have communication between us and the audience, he would make us go right back outside and start all over again. He knew that the performance begins the moment you walk out onto stage, and that first impressions are very important. Now, when I talk about posture, we want to have a nice posture like I talked about in the last video. We want to have a nice, relaxed posture. We don't want to tense up. We don't want to look stressed. If you feel stressed, if you are projecting stress to the audience, if you are projecting uncertainty to the audience, they're going to feel that. They are going to know exactly how you feel. All of us have seen a public speaker and they've gotten up to the microphone and their voice was quivering. You could tell they were nervous. It was evident in their body language. It was evident in the way they performed. How did that make you feel? Not very comfortable. Now, it's the same with music. We want to make sure that we are projecting a confidence and relaxation when we play and when we're just standing there, because that is going to help put the audience at ease and allow them to relax and really enjoy the music. When you are not performing, when you have got rests, do not fidget around. Don't flip pages when you don't need to. Don't go grabbing things out of your case. Don't pull out your phone and look at it. That can be distracting not just for your fellow musicians, the people that you're performing with, but that can be distracting for the people out in the audience, because it is going to take their mind off the music. And that is the last thing that we want to do when we're performing. We do not want to be a distraction for the audience. Now, there are a couple things that us trumpeters do all the time, which with a little forethought, we can do a lot better. Now, the first one is emptying our spit valves. I have seen so many trumpet players walk out on the stage, they're about to play, they walk right up to the front, they pick up their horn, and the very first thing they do is, or they've just played a solo, they've just played something really nice, and they just finished their last note, the audience starts clapping, and then the first thing they do is shake out all that spit from their horn. We don't need to do it at those exact moments. I know it's habit. I have a habit where as soon as I play, as soon as I'm done, I always empty it. However, I have trained myself so that when I'm in situations where I'm playing a solo and people are focused on me, that they don't get distracted by that at the very end of my solo. It's a very little thing. However, I think that it makes a difference, and it really is just another level of professionalism that we can bring to our playing that will take us to that next level. Now, speaking of confidence, confidence is created in the practice room, and it is created through repetition. So the more prepared we are for performance, the more confident we will be. But we want to make sure, even in situations where we aren't 100% confident, maybe we've just been called last minute and we are subbing on a gig and we will be sight reading the entire night and we don't feel that confident. Well, we still need to project that confidence. When we are not performing, of course, we don't want to be fidgeting around. However, what we do want to be doing is paying attention to the music. We want to be focused on what is going on. If the piano is playing, listen to the piano. And don't just listen, really listen to what's going on, because the last thing we want to do is zone out or get distracted and miss our next entrance or miss some type of cue. This will also help us stay in the moment with the music, and that is so important. So many people, they have distractions on their stand. They have an iPad or a cell phone. I'm not joking, I have been on stage with performers who have had an iPad on watching a football game while we're playing a show. That actually happens. But that is not going to allow us to really get into the music and play at that highest level. Another benefit, if we don't have any distractions on stage and we are focusing on the music and we are in the moment, then we're not going to be focused on the mistakes that invariably will happen. Every performer makes a mistake. Whether you miss a note, whether you miss an attack, whether you miss an accidental or a rhythm, it doesn't matter. Every single musician makes a mistake. However, the best musicians, the best performers, they are able to make mistakes and the audience doesn't even know. And that brings me to my next point, which is the audience generally doesn't know when you make a mistake. And furthermore, your interpretation, your idea of what a mistake might be, is probably very different from the audience's idea of what a mistake is. They don't have the score. They don't know your part. They're probably not a trumpet player. All they know is what they're listening to, musical and engaging, and is there communication going on between them and the performer? Does it feel like they have that connection? That is really what we need to be focused on, and that is what the audience is focused on. So we don't want to give the audience any idea that we've made a mistake. A lot of people, they have visual tells when they make mistakes. Maybe they fidget, maybe they make some type of expression. My wife used to tell me years ago when I used to make mistakes that I used to raise my eyebrows. I used to kind of go, you know, when I made a mistake. And she could tell from the audience that I felt that I was making a mistake there, even if it wasn't totally evident. Although sometimes it was evident, and that just gave a validation to the audience that I made a mistake. So I learned to not do that with my playing. Now, I've talked about connecting with the audience, and what I mean by that is an actual connection between you and the audience. When you're speaking with someone and they start looking around and they're not, you know, paying attention, you can tell. And it's the same when we are on stage and we're performing. We want to look out into the audience. Now, don't be a creep. Don't stare at someone. Don't stare them down. You can look at the audience and, you know, reach out with your performance, because as an audience, they are sitting there and they will feel more engaged and they will feel a better connection with you as a performer if you are looking out. And, you know, of course, you don't want to be buried in your music stand. You don't want physical barriers between you and the audience. That's why a lot of performers really encourage that you memorize your music. That's a topic for a whole nother video, but it's very helpful if you memorize the music, and it allows you to communicate even better with not just your audience, but with your fellow musicians. Now, finally, our performance has ended, and whether you feel good about that performance or not, people may come up to you and give you praise or compliments. And I just want to say the appropriate answer is thank you. Don't go into some explanation of how you could have played something better, how you messed up. They had an experience where they enjoyed your performance, and they want to tell you that. And it's not our place to say to them that their opinion wasn't correct. Imagine that you came up to me after I played and you said, "Great performance, I really enjoyed that." And then I said, "Oh no, it wasn't really very good. I messed up a lot." And you basically just told the person who complimented you that they have terrible judgment and that they don't know how to enjoy music. That is not a good way to interact with people who've come to your performances. So keep that in mind. If someone comes up to you after a performance, whether you think you did great or whether you think you did poorly, just say thank you and smile and shake their hand and tell them that you appreciated them coming, because that is all that is needed. All right, I hope that these tips helped you out and that they help you feel more confident on stage and more comfortable on stage. And hopefully it gives you a couple of things to think about and new ways that you can prepare and hopefully take your performances to the next level. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you have not yet subscribed, click that button below. It really makes a very big difference, and thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.